if y'all give me about 8 minutes, I want to share something that I believe will help us know how to make it through hard times. You give me about 8 minutes, okay? So, how many of y'all remember the story of the three little pigs? Yeah. Let me read the story real quick. So the wolf was trying to blow the pig's house down. And the wolf said, little pig, let me in, let me in. And the pig says, not by the hair on my chinny chin chin, I won't let you in. And then the wolf would say, well, I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your house down. And he went to the first pig's house and he blew the pig's house down. Why? Because it was made of straw. And then he went to the second pig's house and he blew that house down. Why? Because it was made out of sticks. But then he went to that third house and he huffed and he puffed and it didn't blow down. So he huffed and he puffed and it didn't blow down. So he fixed himself up a little bit. Let me get straight. And he huffed and he puffed and still the house would not come down. Why?
Because out of bricks.
Because this house was made out of rock. And when the wolf and the wind came, the house had the strength to stand. Hard times, difficult times, the things that we go through, we call them trial and tribulations. They're like that wolf. It can show up unexpectedly. It can show up when everything is going good in your life. It can show up when you've done nothing wrong. It can show up when you've done everything in your power that you know how to do. And those hard times still show up in our lives. Can I give you a guarantee about life that I don't like to say very much?
What?
Here's a guarantee about life. We all will suffer. We're all going to go through some hard times. Doesn't matter how rich we get. Doesn't matter how many degrees we get. Doesn't matter how smart we are. Even though all those things are good, we are all going to go through some hard times. But what matters most is not the guarantee that we're going to suffer. What matters most is what our life is built on when we suffer. Give me about 5 minutes and I want to explain this Bible story to you. So in the book of Daniel, chapter 3, there were these boys called the three Hebrew boys. And they were teenagers who followed God. And they lived in a city where people didn't worship God. They worshiped the king. His name was Nebuchadnezzar. And the king found out about these boys. And he made a gold statue. And every time that music would play, the king will make everybody bow down to this statue. Well, the three Hebrew boys had a problem with that. So when the music played, guess what they did?
Did bow down?
They didn't bow down. They didn't bow down. And the king got mad. And he ordered the three Hebrew boys to be brought to him. And he gave them one more chance to bow down to the image when the music played. And he said that if they didn't, they will be thrown into the fiery furnace. And then he said that their God, our God, would not rescue them. And here's what the Hebrew boy said. O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God whom we serve is able to save us. He will rescue us from your power, your majesty. But watch this. Here's the key. Verse 18 in chapter 3 of Daniel. But even if he doesn't, we want to make it clear to you that we will never serve your gods or worship the gold statue you have set up. Now the king got heated. And right before he threw them in the fiery furnace, he ordered that furnace to be turned up 7 times hotter than what it usually is. And he tied them up and he threw them in. And all of a sudden, the king stood in amazement because he saw 4 men walking around in the fire when he only threw 3 in. And they said the 4th one looked like a god. So the king told them to come out, and they came out, and everyone saw that the fire had not touched them. And the king ordered that everyone serve the God of the 3 Hebrew boys. Candy time. Why do you think, this is an important question, why do you think God didn't save the Hebrew boys from the fiery furnace? Sincere. All right, so let me try to answer. Thank you for answering. Give them some candy. Y'all hear me out. Y'all got your heads up listening? God did not stop the king from throwing them into the furnace, right? Why do you think God did not stop that? They got thrown in the furnace. Why do you think God didn't stop it? Messiah and then Peyton.
I'm going to go after Peyton.
Go ahead. True, they didn't bow down. You can give us some candy. But why didn't he stop? Why didn't God say, no, they not going in? Why didn't he stop it? Messiah.
Why didn't he stop it?
Yeah, why didn't God stop it? Because they got thrown in.
Stop them from burning?
Yeah. Or why did he stop them from going in the first place?
Because he thought it was okay for him, to pray.
Yeah. Go ahead. Okay. He thought it was okay to pray to different God. Okay. Who? Am I wrong? Because of their faith, that God allowed them to be thrown in. Okay. And then Crystal, why do you think?
Because they knew God was going to protect them.
Because they knew God was going to protect them. Okay. Give something to Crystal. Now I want y'all to catch this. And y'all, I'm begging you. If you don't hear anything else that we've said today, hear this. Because this is going to help you in life, period. God didn't save them from the fiery furnace. He saved them in the fiery furnace. What are you trying to say, Phil? God won't always save us from hard times. See, people assume, that just because they become a Christian, that life is all of a sudden not going to suck sometimes anymore. Even as a Christian, as a follower of Christ, life still can suck sometimes. God doesn't promise us that life will never suck. But what he does promise is that he'll be there with us when it does. God didn't take them away from going in the fire. They still went in the fire, but the fire was not authorized to kill them. You may still go through hard stuff. Life will still be hard sometimes. It may still suck at times, but guess what? It's not authorized to destroy you. Hear this out. Can y'all give me like 3 more minutes? Mm-hmm. When you go through hard things, they're there to show you all of who God is. and everything he can be in your life if you choose to trust him. How will we ever know that God is a healer unless I get sick and he heals me? How will I ever know that God is a protector unless I'm going through somewhere I need his protection? How will I ever know that God is a friend who will never leave me unless everybody else leaves me and God is still standing there when the smoke clears? How will I ever know that God is a provider unless I'm going through something where I need him to provide? It's in these tough moments that God shows me who he is in my life when I trust him. Now, does that mean that every time I'm sick or somebody in my family is sick that God is going to heal them? No, that's not what it means. But what it does mean is that even if he doesn't, I still trust that he's there with me when I'm experiencing pain. Whatever you're going through, it's not meant to break you. It's meant to make you and to make you spiritually strong. It's there to build your faith in God and not destroy it. Let me read this last scripture. We're going to wrap up. Isaiah 43, verse 2. When you go through deep waters, this is God talking, I will be with you. When you go through rivers of difficulty, you will not drown. When you walk through the fire of oppression, you will not be burned up. The flames will not consume you. End of verse. You're not going through hard things because God left you. You're going through hard things because God is with you and he's pursuing you. Last point. The king, Nebuchadnezzar, gave his life to God because of what the Hebrew boys were delivered from. And in your life, what God is going to or has already delivered you from, it's because he's going to use you to help other people be delivered through. That whatever God has brought you out of, whatever God has saved you out of, or whatever he's going to save you out of, he's going to use you to help other people come through it as well. I had no idea that when my dad walked out on my mom, that I was going to be sharing my story with young people who are going through the same thing I went through. But what God delivered me from, he's using me to help other people be delivered through. So here's my encouragement to you. I want you to keep a journal and write down your prayers and write down when God answers your prayers. And one day God's going to use that as a book. Or he'll use it as a testimony, a story for you to share to encourage other people. Here's a thought. We wouldn't have the Bible stories we have today had it not been for somebody writing this stuff down. We got the book of Daniel because somebody wrote it down. But guess what? I want to read the book of Keon and see what God has done for him. I want to read the book of Mama Nan and read about what God has done for her. I want to read the book of Kayla. I want to read about what God has done for her. I want to read the book of Sincere. And I want to see what God has delivered him from. And 20, 30, 40 years from now, you have no idea how many people will be impacted because of the story about how God has delivered you and what he's done in your life. Let me pray for you.